What Steven Spielberg did, and Peter Jackson and Kathy Kennedy, obviously, was to go and look for strong actors who could do the job, but also were going to bring their skills to the film.
The idea of building an iconic character like Tintin, here's this almost very simple, round face, but the idea of coming up with that little tuft of hair to make him instantly recognizable, it captured the zeitgeist. It entered into an art form that is now something that maybe even Herge had probably never even dreamt of while he was alive.
Tintin's an interesting challenge in casting Tintin because you want somebody who has a certain agelessness, but someone who's not a child, because you can't make him too young. He can look after himself on these adventures, and he can look after himself in a car chase, or he knows how to fly a plane. I mean, there has to be a certain world knowledge that Tintin has whilst remaining youthful. And it didn't take us too long to think of Jamie Bell. I mean, I was lucky enough to work with Jamie on King Kong.
I was always impressed by Billy Elliot, and what Jamie Bell did in that movie. That performance was astonishing to me. Not just the subtlety of his acting, but the tremendous physical performance he gave. So Peter and I both came up with the idea that Jamie Bell would be the ideal Tintin.
He leaps, he jumps, he fights, he gets involved in all sorts of terrific stunts, and Jamie is a very physical actor. And so we don't have to use stunt people very often. Jamie's able to do it single-handedly. So finding Tintin was a big relief for us.
If I'd have known that, as a boy watching this on Sunday mornings, with my face this close to the screen and loving everything about Tintin, then jump forward and be playing this character every day that they put this Tintin thing on with this little piece of Velcro so the reference cameras can identify us. It's a big weight. It's a big weight for me. It feels like an enormous responsibility. He's loved by so many. It's an amazing opportunity, and I'm so lucky to have this chance. Snowy, you haven't seen the... Where is it? What's fantastic about Tintin is that he doesn't always get it right. And often it's Snowy who actually gets it right.
Snowy doesn't talk or think in a language, which is what the books show. There's thought bubbles and dialogue snippets throughout the books that express how Snowy is thinking. And I think they had to do that because of the limitation of the art form. With a movie, because Snowy's moving and expressing himself constantly, Peter and I didn't feel that we really had a need to give a sort of tutorial to an audience by allowing this to be a talking dog, which, if there's any reality to Tintin at all, it's that the dog doesn't talk. And we felt that was important.
He's a dog, but he does a lot more than just, trot round after Tintin by his ankles. He gets involved in the plots. He sometimes has a significant role to play in scenes.
Snowy, what have you done?
There's moments in the film where something that Snowy does is absolutely the catalyst for the film, the plot going ahead.
I'd stand back if I were you.
Captain Haddock is a character who has fallen from grace, if in fact there ever was a grace note anywhere in his life. He's an unrepentant drinker who has used the bottle to escape the fact that his forefathers were heroic, like the great Sir Francis Haddock, a kind of pirate hunter. He would go around retrieving the loot that pirates would take. And so he has a lot of nobility and a lot of honor in his ancestry, but it has not trickled down successfully to the current Haddock line.
On a bottle of rum rolling on the deck, and he opens it up and puts it to his lips,
and then he stops.
I think the fact that Herge decided that Haddock has a drinking problem.
What have we here?
It's not something you see in movies that you would consider family films, but it's treated in a way that Tintin absolutely does not accept the way Haddock lives his life.
I can smell it on you.
And yet he recognizes that that's who he is. And he works very hard to try to get Haddock to see that there is a better way to live his life and that it's important that he stop drinking and that it's not good for him. And so that's a kind of line of storytelling that runs throughout the entire movie.
Just a wee tipple. A toast.
I think Tintin brings a lot of value to Captain Haddock's life. giving Captain Haddock a chance to redeem himself. And Captain Haddock brings many lessons to Tintin's life that Tintin never expected to learn from anyone, let alone this sort of old reprobate sea captain.
I swear, as the last of the Haddocks, that I will get that boat before Sakharine does.
To Bagar.
I think I just one day said, you know, we ought to hire Andy Serkis to play Captain Haddock. He's done so well for you, Peter, you know, King Kong and Gollum, and he knows the medium better than any human being alive today, and he's funny, and he's a wonderful actor.
Come on. Empty.
And everybody instantly jumped on that, and he became Captain Haddock overnight.
I'm Tintin, by the way.
Haddock, Archibald Haddock. There's a longboat on deck. Follow me.
Hang on a second. Did you say Haddock?
I like to do quite a lot of research. So, I mean, particularly for Captain Haddock, you know, I wanted to find out a lot about the maritime side of things and his seamanship. Because actually, I mean, Captain Haddock is a master seaman. He is brilliant at his job. It's only he's an alcoholic and has foibles and is fallible like most of humanity. And I think that's what's appealing about the character.
I don't remember anything about anything.
We've decided to play Haddock with a Scottish accent.
Memory is not what it used to be.
Well, what did it used to be?
I've forgotten.
It was seemed appropriate, you know, in the tests that we did, sat around and we talked about the character and that he should have kind of the rawness and kind of emotional availability of a more Celtic kind of feel.
Put us both out of our misery.
Captain Haddock was a very crucial role, and to tell you the truth, I mean, I couldn't think of anybody other than Andy Serkis.
What do you want? Why are you following us?
Thompson and Thompson are just, I think, in the great tradition of the silent movie stars such as Laurel and Hardy and Charlie Chaplin. We always kind of see them as being two sort of Oliver Hardys in a way, and they're very fastidious but ultimately bumbling.
We're completely clueless.
They work for the International Police Service and consider themselves to be the greatest detectives.
Yeah.
And clearly are the worst.
Haven't you heard? There's a pickpocket about.
People call them the Thompson twins, but I mean, they're not. They're not twins at all. They just happen to be two detectives called Thompson, and they happen to look identical, but that's just a coincidence.
Tintin?
Gentlemen.
They are not twins. One spells his name with a P in the middle, Thompson.
No, Thompson. This is Thompson without a P, as in psychic. No. It's Thompson with a P, as in psychology.
One has a moustache which twirls a bit. The other comes down straight, so they are slightly different.
Great Scotland Yard! Oh, that's extraordinary.
Peter and I wanted to cast a team to play Thompson and Thompson. We didn't want to cast two actors who didn't know each other, so we were looking for kind of writing teams, comedy teams, and it was suggested to us
of using Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, who have worked together on a number of films.
I think it was even Peter Jackson who came up with the idea.
This was actually Stephen's idea.
So we went for them.
They immediately bring that kind of partnership, that Laurel and Hardy type of quality to this relationship. Now, obviously, Simon and Nick look completely different to each other, but that's where the beauty of performance capture comes in. You know, it's our job to make them look identical.
We were friends first and foremost for a long time, and I think we share a certain mindset where we can, and I think that's helped us to be Thompson and Thompson, where we know what the other's going to do.
A light-fingered fiend has the city in his grip. The Commissioner personally assigned us to the case.
If you're playing twins, even though they're not twins, it's really helped us, I think.
Sakharine?
That's Mr. Sakharine to you.
The villain is a very difficult aspect of this story. We've taken a little bit of a liberty from what Herge did, and we've taken a secondary character from The Secret of the Unicorn, and we've actually promoted him to the status of principal villain. We wanted somebody interesting to play that role who would really surprise us and not give us a character that we'd be expecting. And so we really thought hard who this could be, and it was Stephen came up with the idea of Daniel Craig.
I heard on the grapevine that he was making the film and he started collaborating with Peter on it. So he called me up and said, would I do it? And I thought about it and said yes. Simple as that.
Welcome to Marlinspike Hall.
Daniel sort of plays what I like to call a champagne villain. He's crude when he has to be, but he sort of has this mock elegance.
After you.
And Daniel and I are friends, and we've worked together before. And I just saw him as Sakharine.
I based him on that sort of English tradition of playing bad guys, try to make it my own.
You need to think about exactly how useful you are to me.
Having read the books, I kind of had a good sort of idea of what the tone should be and how far to go, and Stephen just encouraged me just to sort of push it as far as I could possibly go, which was great fun.
Excuse us.
There is this wonderful female character, which is Bianca Castafiore, who doesn't actually appear in The Secret of the Unicorn, but does appear in a lot of other Tintin stories. So we decided to actually include her in our story because she actually does something very significant for our plot. And so she's a very iconic character who turns out to be one of the banes of Haddock's existence. He runs screaming from the room whenever she starts singing.
My ears.
She ends up in the movie in a way that is actually quite delightful.
I am playing Omar Ben Salad, and I love this character because I use my roots and my country. I'm born in Morocco, and I use my Moroccan accent.
Now this I like, so maybe you're still walking as you're saying this.
We are blessed with your presence.
When I speak like this, it's all my childhood that coming back, and I love it.
When Gad started working, it was so instant as to why he was here, because he was that character.
Arrest him! Wait. The ugly one!
No, wait! Me!
I don't think Americans understand how big and important is Tintin for the French, and not only French, for Europeans. For example, I was a few days ago in Belgium to promote a movie, and I was promoting this movie, my movie, but during the press conference, the only thing that the people would love to know and want to know was what's going on with Tintin and Spielberg, and what are you going to do with Tintin, because for them it's their childhood, it's their life. Tintin is so big for them, so talk to us about Tintin.
And beyond that, the casting's been a combination of using actors that either Stephen or I have had experience with before, or we, in some of the smaller roles, we did auditions like we normally do and found actors to play the parts.
I play one of the bad guys shooting at them from a seaplane. It was a lot of fun. I had one day's work, but for me, as I said to Stephen and Peter, I said, this is pure joy for me.
To a certain extent, you're blinded by the technology when you first walk in. You can't quite see how on earth with this camera here and with these chicken wire props, and you can't quite work out how it's going to happen. And actually, the whole thing is very relaxed and very easy.
When you see the screen at the back and you actually see your cartoon character in real time, I mean, that's the thing that blew my mind, really, because you know, when you move, it moves.
It's brilliant to play a bad guy and to play someone that doesn't look like me. I mean, it's strange that the motion capture, the whole motion capture thing, I'm playing this quite a beefy, butch kind of guy. And I'm not a beefy, butch type of guy, so it's good to play this, this proper thug.
The beauty of this is it's like doing animation in a scuba diving suit, because they can morph your shape, make you into anything.
This way,
so vocally, if you can change sufficiently, then you can play a whole number of roles.
10 years I've been flogging bric-a-brac and I misnamed your price by 1 bleating minute.
I think the performance capture medium requires a little more projection of one's feelings. You know, I think a performance has to be not forced, but extended a little stronger than normal. Not that subtleties don't exactly read, but if you're too internal, nothing is going to appear, and you've got to demonstrate how you're feeling more than just feeling how you're feeling. And in that sense, I went 4 actors who were naturally expressive and who didn't hold back.